Recording, okay. I'm going to start off by saying that I think it's pretty awesome that the final exam is a TED Talk. I didn't expect that. Pretty nervous, and I'm battling the cold, so bear with me. So, hello everyone, hello class, hello professor. My name is Anthony Redmond, and I want to thank you for joining me as we explore an area where ancient wisdom meets scientific research in my research paper, Psychedelics and Medicine, Finding Common Ground. Over the next few minutes, I'll take you on a journey from the healing ceremonies of our ancestors to today's cutting edge clinical trials and ask how might we reconcile millennia old traditions with 21st century, let's call them regulatory realities. But first, let's start at the beginning with the ancient roots of psychedelic healing. First, for over 7,000 years, indigenous cultures around the globe have worked with naturally occurring psychoactive plants and fungi, not as recreation, but as sacred medicines. Shamans in Siberia, Mesoamerica, and throughout Africa administered drugs like psilocybin mushrooms and DMT rich vines and other entheogens to treat everything from chronic pain to psychological distress. These rituals and contexts combined herbal knowledge, communal support, and guided introspection, what the shaman was for, to promote what they understood as holistic health, according to Dr. Anderson. Far from drug use, these practices, I guess you would call them, represented a sophisticated therapeutic model, one that modern science today is only now rediscovering. But what happened between then and now? Disruption by law is what happened. Let's go to 1970. I'm nuts. Okay, let's go to 1970. 1970 had a lot of concern with recreational drug use. In the United States, they enacted a Controlled Substance Act categorizing LSD, psilocybin, DMT, ketamine, MDMA all as Schedule 1 substances, which means that they don't have any acceptable medical use and a high potential for abuse. So these compounds were effectively removed from clinical areas and ongoing studies, some showing promising treatment for addiction, depression, or PTSD. They were all halted instantly. And researchers who was working with these compounds found themselves covered in paperwork and legal barriers, unable to build on the very evidence that they started generating. But there wasn't enough. The very next year, the U.S. doubled down and ratified it or made official in the UN the Convention on Psychotropic Substances, obligating the member nations in the UN to ban psychedelics outright or ban them outside of tightly regulated research areas. The intent was to curb addiction, excuse me, but the unintended consequence was a near complete freeze on like the scientific side, the scientific inquiry on it. Traditional knowledge handed down to us from millennia old shamans was tossed in the name of global uniformity, if you will. That was a quote from Dr. Catherine Mackey. But a phenomenon is happening. Scientists call it the contemporary renaissance of research now. In the last 2 decades, a huge fresh wave begun to crack open the controlled substances, like let's call it ice, because they put a freeze on everything. Some examples are psilocybin and depression. Stanford and John Hopkins studies report that the single guided psilocybin session can produce like rapid relief from treatment resistant depression subjects in up to 60 or 70% of participants, and that's with the 4 week follow up. DMT has been showed has been shown to help with cognitive flexibility. For instance, early data such as DMT may enhance associative learning, offered potential benefits for Alzheimer's and cognitive disorders. Yeah. So, also LSD helps with aggression management, and ketamine clinics are around now. While ketamine is not really one of your classic psychedelics, its dissociative properties have been led to like a bunch of off-label depression clinics, and that demonstrates just how hungry the scientific community is for new tools for helping people. Excuse me. Now, it's not just people playing around. These studies are conducted under strict protocols, like screen participants, controlled dosages, um, and all kind of sessions. They report a high profile administered. The resurgence of peer review evidence, and there's other scientists who review what they claim. So it's peer review. Shows that a shifting from drug abuse to drug promise as they think about how psychedelics can help people. Can help people. So we need to bridge uh, bridge ancient wisdom with modern science. Excuse me, fighting the cold. They need to ask, what can we learn from our ancestors? First, context matters. The shamanic model of pairs substance, which would be the psychedelics, with ritual guidance. The template of today's emphasis on set or mindset and setting and environment. The holistic care combines biological, psychological, and social dimensions, community support, guided integration, and attention to spiritual, or what you would call people call existential crises. They try to pay attention to what you're going through as well. They integrate all this information to help us rethink the regulations on what we're doing, and you can do that in a ketamine clinic right now. As evidence mounts, the regulatory agencies that are in power now, they're now at a crossroads. Do we treat all psychedelics as Schedule 1 substances like drugs? Or do we now recognize the potential use that they can have for the betterment of people? And we still got to safeguard against misuse, of course. And we got to do that with opiates as well. But there's a growing number of scientists and clinicians that advocate for this rescheduling of the psychotropic properties. Well, in closing, the story of psychedelics is either one of, it's not one of no peril or unalloyed peril, uncritical celebration. It's a tale of ancient tradition, and it was just interrupted by law. And it was a broad prohibition that stopped the research from reaching us. But now we're moving forward, and hopefully we can use these tools to make a better life and tackle a lot of the problems psychologically we have in the world. If you have any questions, send me an email. I'm glad to answer questions. I did a lot of research on this. I'm just not good at talking, but I have way more information than I probably need on this particular subject. Email, I'll answer questions. We can talk about it. Anthony Redmond again. Give me a call or email, and hopefully we can get something done about it. I mean, talk to your congressman, if you will. Thank you.